Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you both for your service and for being here. I think my question would be, what is our end game? And the end game would be, we've been there bogged down for quite some time, and if you look at, when I go home to West Virginia and talk to the citizens, you know, they said, well, to stop this migration, you're going to have a no-fly zone. You have to have protection where people feel like they're safe. And as the country regroups or rebuilds, that there are still people there that basically are peace-loving, well-educated. So we haven't made a decision on that, and I know the chairman has asked directly on that. And then I start looking at basically with Russia's involvement and Russia being involved to protect Assad. Russia's more involved in protecting Assad and working with Iran to have some influence of what happens there in my evaluation. And then you look at the United States, we're more concerned about fighting ISIL, if you will, or it looks to be, more so than protecting or fighting with our coalition who wants to defeat Assad. So what would be the end game, and what part are we going to be able to play in this, unless we take on Russia or basically check Russia from what they're doing, unless we have some type of diplomatic relations with Russia and an agreement with Russia. I see Russia as being in a situation, and they've involved themselves to where they're going to be a major broker in that region, because Iran seems to be, if you will, more influential as far as in Iraq and in Syria. With Assad, now with Assad being helped and propped up by Russia, we're out there fighting ISIL. We're not protecting the people that can basically put any security back into Syria. It's a very confusing situation. It's hard for us to say, okay, at the end of the day, here's our end game. And if somebody has any explanation for that and tells me what we're trying to accomplish, I'd be happy to hear it.
I'll take that, Senator. For us, the paramount objective is the defeat of ISIL. That will require...
That's our number one priority right now in Syria.
They're trying to attack Americans.
I got you.
So we have to take that very seriously. Okay. They must be defeated, and they must
And you agree,
I'm
sorry, Mr. Secretary, you do agree that Russia's primary is to protect Assad?
Yeah, they said they were going to fight ISIL, and that's not what they're doing.
Okay, so
Assad, which just fuels the civil war, which is the point the chairman was making.
Okay.
And fuels the...
So we have two different objectives right now. The United States and Russia has two complete different objectives.
Well, they say they have the same objectives,
but we don't see that.
Actions
belie
that.
And they're basically in line with Iran in helping prop up Assad and protect Assad.
Iran has also supported Assad, absolutely, as well. And so to get to the question of the end game in Syria has to be a transition in which Assad is no longer running the country. We would like to see that transition occur in as peaceful and prompt a way as possible, because we would like there to be
Is it obvious that basically that Russia and Iran will have more influence on who the next leader or the leadership of Syria is going to be than we will?
Well, I think that I don't think they can be sure of that, because I'm saying they're positioning themselves for that. The future of Syria will be in the hands of the Syrian people, and many of those are Syrian moderate opposition leaders who are being attacked by Assad's forces with Russia's help right now.
Have we been able to assess the migration of the people from Syria as being more of the leaders, more of the well-educated, more of the peace-loving?
Yes, there's a spectrum there that goes all the way over to true extremists like al-Nusra and ISIL, all the way through groups.
Can I ask General
much more moderate.
Dunford if on this, General, I know we've talked before on some of this, but it's just it's so hard to go home and explain our involvement unless we're going to have a no-fly and protect those who want to be there to rebuild their country. We're not going to have much to work with.
The chairman said something important in his opening comments, and I think that's exactly what the military campaign is designed to do, and that's to provide some leverage. And I think what we owe the president is options that will allow us to generate the kind of momentum and confidence in the military campaign against ISIL that will give us leverage politically. So the decision's been made that the issue with Assad is being solved politically right now. So I think there's two separate approaches here in Syria that'll come together at some point in the future. One is that we're dealing with ISIL on the ground, and we're doing that militarily, and that's with the strikes and the partnership capacity that I spoke about a minute ago. Meanwhile, there are broader political negotiations that are taking place to determine the future of the transitional government. I think right now it's pretty clear to me what we should be doing on the military side, and that is taking the fight to ISIL, generating momentum, keeping the coalition together, giving confidence in the campaign, and then again,
If I can
the Chairman
just,
talked about.
Mr. Chairman, if you indulge just one more. If I can just ask, is the rebels or the coalition forces which we are supporting in Syria, are they more intent on fighting Assad or fighting ISIL?
The individuals that we are supporting, specifically those in the north, are fighting ISIL.
More so than Assad?
More so than Assad.
Even
That
though...
includes the Syrian Arab Coalition and the YPG and some smaller groups that we've supported. And we have some other groups that we're beginning to negotiate with in the south that have expressed the same intent.
Thank you, sir.